then I'm going to do a couple of techniques that are a little bit, a little bit different, a little newer. Guys may not be as familiar with. And the first one I'm going to start out with is the Neko rig, and it's just basically what I like to do is take a type of straight worm, hook it in the middle like you would a wacky worm, but then you take this weight and you stick it into one end, and the worm will kind of stand up, and as you drag it, it kind of collapses like a wacky worm. So it's a very different looking technique. The fish have never really seen this in a lot of areas, and it can be very effective. So that's what I'm going to start with, the Neko. I used to call it the Neko rig, but it's actually pronounced properly in Japanese as the Neko rig. I didn't know how to pronounce it. Last year I was calling it the Neko rig, and Shin Fukai from Japan is one of the best anglers at this technique. He came up to me and said, no, it's called Neko rig. Not Neko, Neko rig. I said, well, sorry bro. I'll pronounce it correctly next time. But yeah, Shin's a good guy. He's going to be fishing the Elite Series this coming year, as is Wesley Strader. He hadn't been over here. Wesley Strader's over there at the Powell booth. He's a good guy. He's going to be a first-year elite guy, but he is no rookie. So if you want to pick somebody else's brain this year other than me and Gerald and Jonathan, Wesley's over there, very good angler as well. So that's what getting distracted. But on this Neko rig, I fish it on a spinning rod, light line. I like to fish it on the same rod that I fish a drop shot. I've got this cash and drop shot rod. It's counterbalanced, which helps keep the tip up. And that's kind of how I fish the Neko rig, is with the tip up. Now, when this technique's been around on the Pro Tour for a number of years, I'd say for 4 or 5 years. And a few years ago, I started fishing it, and to be honest with you, I thought the whole technique sucked. I was like, it's worthless. Now, I fished it quite a bit, and I didn't catch anything. I was doing it all wrong. When I saw how I was rigging this, and I saw how the worm wants to collapse like this, I thought that you needed to get it up off the bottom and fish it like a wacky worm. So what I would do is I'd get it down to the bottom, and I'd fish it through the middle of the water column like that. I wouldn't even let it hit the bottom. I was kind of expecting the fish to come up and eat it, and I didn't really catch anything on it. And so I thought it was just the technique, but I was doing it wrong. I went out and I threw out one time, and I was doing something, got distracted, and I picked up my worm, and I was just kind of dragging it, and one ate it. I thought, maybe I'm doing this all wrong. And I was. So when you go to fish it, you're going to let that bait, I got to get it past the plant there. You're going to let that bait go all the way down and hit the bottom, and you're just going to reel your slack up and just slowly drag it on the bottom. Like, I can feel that gravel in the bottom of the tank with that weight. Now I'm just going to slowly, you can see how that worm just kind of stands straight up. I'm just going to slowly drag it, let it keep contact with the bottom, and that is how you catch them. And as you can see, it'll come over through some cover. You can get it through some light branches, some light grass, stuff like that. But you're not going to get it through brush piles or anything real heavy. But it'll come through some light cover. And I like to throw as light a line as I can get away with. I throw this on 8-pound test quite a bit. Sunline Sniper as my leader. I put that leader down to a Sunline SX1 braid. That braid ties really good knots. And the knot that I tie between my leader and the braid is called an FG knot. I'm not going to even start to explain to you how to tie that knot, but that is by far the best braid to fluorocarbon knot out there. It's actually, the knot, when it's tied correctly, is stronger than either line, the way that it fits together. So I would highly recommend trying to figure out how to tie that knot, because it's worth it. But just remember, as long as you have the right types of line, you can tie it. If you tie it wrong, it just comes right out. It doesn't fool you. Like, if you don't tie it right, it just comes right apart. If you tie it correctly, it locks down and it's good to go. So you're not fooled by a knot that's halfway. So anyway, once you get your line straight, you got your right rod. Just any spinning reel that has a good smooth drag in it is good. And with this Neko rig, you're not going to be, as you can see, it's a slow moving technique. I'm not going to be able to cover any amount of water. If I'm going to fish it from here to that wall over there, it's going to take me about a day and a half to get there fishing this rig because it's so slow. So what you want to do is you want to fish it in high percentage areas, but you want to fish it real slow. So if I feel like that the fish are hanging around docks, I'm going to throw next to that dock, and I'm going to throw that Neko rig over there, and I'm just going to slowly drag it down the edge of that dock because I know those fish are using that dock. I'm not going to go down the bank fishing it to get to the next dock. I'm going to reel it in. I might throw another bait, or I might just put my trolling motor on high, go down to that next dock, and then I'm going to fish it slow again. Or if they're on points, I'm going to fish it slow, maybe 2 or 3 casts on that point, and then I'm going to go to the next point. I'm not going to waste time going down the bank because you want to keep that bait in high percentage areas. That's the whole key with that Neko rig. And this is a Missile Baits 48. It's blunted on both ends, so it's real easy to stick that weight into it. And all it is just it's a little like mushroom looking head with a little spike on it. I think this one's actually made by Demiki. They've got them over at Dave's Tournament Tackle booth. I like to start with an 1/8 ounce. I may go up to a 3/16, but 1/8 is what I end up using most of the time. And I only fish this down to about 10 feet of water. I'm not fishing in it in real deep water. If I'm fishing deeper water, I'm gonna fish a different technique. Do something a little bit different. Any questions on the Neko rig before I move on? All right.